So when you work in restaurants, particularly fine dining, you learn a few tricks when it comes to flavor, presentation, and how to bump them up. So you learn techniques. One of them is called the fluid gel, and I'm going to show you that technique today. It's how you can take ingredients, change its state, put it into a fluid gel, a little bit of science. This technique is really wicked, so you're going to want to watch this video and learn how to do it. Right, let's get into it.
So I'm going to start with about 500-ish grams of guava, which are pretty ripe. That's why I picked them up. The pink ones work amazing with this recipe. Just going to peel them, top and tail them. You can use any type of fruit, really. Okay, then you just get a deep saucepan, roughly chop them up. You can just see how juicy they are. Some fruits are going to be a bit more fibrous, so just pick and choose ones that you think are going to work. More on that later in the video. Then we're going to add 300 mils of coconut water. That'll give it a nice back note flavor and about 30 grams of sugar. Get that on the stove, and we're just going to simmer and cook this until everything's a little bit mushy and you can put a knife through them. I mean, these are already ripe, so that really helps. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. Then we're going to blitz this up in stages using our trusty Ninja. I should be sponsored by them by now, the amount of stuff that I do and use of theirs on the channel. Okay, so I'm going to strain that through and I'm going to blitz up the rest of this mixture. And then I'm going to strain that through again. And you're going to see how many seeds are left over. So pick your fruit accordingly. Kind of looks a bit like a banana custard at the minute. Now, when it comes to setting this with gelling agents, you weigh out your mixture, and whatever the weight of that is, you use 1 gram of agar powder, so good they named it twice, per 100 gram of weight. So this was 600 grams, so I'm going to use 6 grams of agar powder. Agar powder is a type of gelatin made from seaweed, so it's really good because it's plant-based. So you can use it in a ton of different recipes, and it's really good for gelling. Gelatin is my preferred one, but I used agar because you can pick it up in most stores. Now you put that into your mixture, get it on the stove, warm it up, and cook it out for about a minute or so. Use a bigger pan. Don't be a donut like me because this one's bubbling up and spitting everywhere. So once that's cooked out for about a minute, put it into a container like this to let it cool down and put it in your fridge to set. And when it's set, it's going to look like this, nice and kind of rubbery. I actually used a little bit more, so I used about 6.1-ish grams. So about 6.5 grams in total. Sometimes I like to add a bit more, depending on how thick I want the gel to be. Now I'm just going to put this into a blender. These little ones work really well. Blitz this up, and that's going to re-emulsify everything and make it nice and smooth, just like this. And you can just see the texture. Look at it holding. Is it going to drop? Is it going to drop? Ooh. It's not going to drop. Is it going to drop? Wow, the suspense. Okay, tastes really nice. And then we're just going to pass that through a really nice chinois just to make sure there's no fibers left or anything else or whatsoever. You can use a drum sieve as well for this. Okay, now you've got that. Get it into a nice little squeezy bottle because you want to be chefy with this one. Use a little funnel, put a little skewer in, give it a little tap-tap-tap-a-roo, and that will help it go all the way down. Lid on, and get ready to pipe up your first fluid gel. Oh yeah, I've never actually made this combination before. It does taste rather nice. Plenty fun you can have with presentation and the old chef swipe. Let's go, chef. Plenty fun, trust me. Now, an easier way is you can just use a straight liquid. Take 300 mils of orange juice, and we're going to put about 75 mils of some cranberry juice and about 30-ish grams of sugar, 2 grams of star anise, 2 grams of red Szechuan peppercorn, if you can get them. Give that a little mix, get it on your stove, and what we're going to do is we're just going to warm that up, dissolve the sugar, so bring it up to the boil, and then we're just going to let that infuse and simmer in an ideal world for an hour or two, but you know, half an hour isn't that bad at all. Okay, once that's done and infused, we're going to strain that, weigh it out, and the same thing again, we're going to add in our agar powder, which I forgot to film because I am a donut, but that's absolutely fine. It's the same process as before. I used about 3.5 grams in this time. Get it on the stove, bring that up to the boil, cook that out for a minute or two, pour that into a container, just like this, to cool down. Then I'm going to put it in the fridge. And when it's done, you've got yourself some rolled up fruit leather. I mean, look how glossy and shiny that is. Blitz that up very nicely. Don't overload your blender like I have done before. Get that back into a funnel, the same deal. And there you go. You've just made another fluid gel. So you can let your imagination run wild and do all kinds of flavors. It doesn't even have to be sweet, it can also be savory. And just like that, you can have fun doing lots of different types of presentations, smears, swirls, swabs, dashes, and any other words I can think of. Enjoy, my friends. I'll see you all on the next one.